Have you ever stopped to wonder if some people just deserve what's coming to them? That is the big question hanging over Weatherfield right now, and honestly, it's a tough one to answer. Theo Silverton is dead. This guy was a monster. He spent over a year making Todd Grimshaw's life a total living hell through mental and physical abuse. But now that he's actually gone, the street isn't exactly throwing a party. Instead, everyone is looking over their shoulder. The air just feels heavy. It's like the whole place is holding its breath. The biggest question of all is this: did a good person finally snap and do the unthinkable? Or did a bad person just do what they do best? Gary Windass is currently sitting right in the middle of this absolute mess. You have to feel for the guy in a weird way, even if he's done some pretty terrible things in his time. Right now, he is the prime suspect. The police, especially Detective Kit Green, have basically put a giant target on his back. They didn't just knock on his door. They stormed his builder's yard. They took everything they could find: scaffolding, pipes, tools. You name it, they bagged it. They are desperately looking for the blunt object that ended Theo's life. Gary tries to look cool and calm, but you can see the cracks starting to show. Well, think about it. We've seen Gary in this position so many times before. He's always the one the police go for first. Is it because he's actually a cold-blooded killer? Or is it just because he's an easy target with a very dark past? Think about what Gary did right after the murder happened. He went and deleted CCTV footage of himself smashing up Theo's work van on the very same day. Now, I want you to really think about that. If you were 100% innocent, would you really be deleting evidence? Probably not. But Gary isn't like most people. He knows his own history better than anyone. He knows the police already think he's a villain because of what happened with Rick Nailon and that factory roof collapse years ago. In his head, he's probably thinking that the truth won't actually set him free. He probably thinks the truth will just give the police a reason to lock him up for good this time. He's trying to control the story, but the story is spinning way out of his control. Then you have Maria. Poor, loyal Maria. She actually lied to the police just to give him an alibi. She told them he was with her, and that's the only reason he's not sitting in a cell right now. But can you imagine the weight of that lie? She's risking her own freedom for a man who is constantly surrounded by death and secrets. It makes you wonder what their marriage is even built on anymore. Is it still love? Or is it just a habit of covering up each other's messes? If I were Maria, I'd be sleeping with one eye open. Being Gary's wife seems like the most dangerous job in Weatherfield. But wait, the plot gets even thicker than that. There is this huge theory that Gary's real alibi isn't Maria at all. Some fans are absolutely convinced he was actually with his ex Sarah Platt on the night Theo died. They've been acting so strange and shifty around each other lately. Sarah was even asking the police questions about Gary. She looked way too worried for just an ex-girlfriend. If they were actually together, Gary is in a terrible spot. To prove he didn't kill Theo, he would have to tell Maria he was cheating on her with Sarah. It's like a classic soap opera nightmare. Would you rather go to prison for a murder you didn't commit or lose your entire family because you were having an affair? It's a choice no one should ever have to make. But for Gary, it feels like karma is finally coming to collect. And then there's the selfie clue, which is just brilliant in its own way. You couldn't make this up if you tried. Sally and Tim were just out having a nice dinner at the bistro. They took a selfie like they always do. But when they looked back at the photo later, they saw a figure in the background. It looks exactly like Gary Windass walking away from the flat where Theo was found dead. It's such a small, random thing, but it might be the one thing that destroys him. It just shows how fragile a perfect crime really is. You can delete all the CCTV you want, but you can't stop Sally Metcalf from posting a photo of her dinner to social media. Now we have to talk about the suspect that almost no one saw coming, Summer Spellman. Summer is supposed to be the golden girl of the street. She's the one who goes to university and stays out of trouble, right? But Theo did something truly unforgivable to her. He was the one responsible for the death of her adoptive dad, Billy Mayhew. That kind of pain doesn't just go away. It turns into something very dark and very heavy. When George Shuttleworth was cleaning up recently, he accidentally knocked over Summer's bag and found her journal. And what was inside? A page describing exactly how she'd put a gun to Theo's head. Think about the psychology of that for a second. Summer has always been a victim in so many ways. She's been kidnapped, she's struggled with her health, and she's lost the people she loves most. Maybe she finally decided that she wasn't going to be the victim anymore. Her actress, Harriet Bibby, even said that Summer deserves to be a suspect. That is a massive hint, don't you think? Summer isn't that innocent little girl we used to know. She's angry, she's grieving, and she is acting very guilty. She's actually trying to run away to America right now. She told Todd she's moving her university placement up, so she can leave today. Now ask yourself, if you haven't done anything wrong, why are you packing a bag and heading for the airport the second the police start asking questions? It feels like she's trying to outrun her own conscience. Every time she sees a police officer, she shifts uncomfortably. She even broke down in tears in the gardens when George was being questioned. Were those tears for George, or were they tears for herself because she knows she's the one who should be in that interview room? Then we have the hidden suspects that people are talking about. A lot of fans think the 6 official suspects are just a big distraction. They're looking at Theo's ex-wife Danielle and her son Miles. Miles just happened to show up right before his dad was killed. That is way too convenient to be a coincidence. Theo was an abuser, and usually, the people who suffer the most are the ones closest to him. Maybe Danielle is covering for her son. Maybe she saw Miles do something and decided that her only job as a mother was to protect him, no matter what it cost. It makes sense, right? Why would the writers send a favorite character like Gary or Summer to prison when they could have a character we barely know take the fall? But George Shuttleworth is also acting very suspicious lately. He deals with death for a living, but he is clearly rattled by this one. He saw something on the night of the murder, and we're going to see exactly what that was in a flashback soon. He's been protecting Summer, but is he doing that because he knows she's guilty, or is he just trying to keep his family together? George is a good man, but even good men tell lies when they are scared. He's already told the police about Summer's journal, which shows he's torn between his conscience and his loyalty to the girl he considers a daughter. This whole situation is a giant mess of lies and secrets. Every time the police think they have a lead, something else pops up to confuse them. Detective Kit Green is determined to pin this on Gary, but Lisa Swain seems to have her doubts. The tension between the two detectives is almost as bad as the tension on the street itself. It feels like they are racing against each other to solve a case, and Gary is caught right in the crossfire. So, what do you think is going to happen next? I have a feeling that Gary's past is going to be his downfall. Even if he didn't pull the trigger this time, he has way too many skeletons in his closet. If the police start digging deep into his life, they're going to find a lot more than just a smashed-up van. They might finally find out what really happened to Rick Nalon. And if that happens, Gary is gone for good. As for Summer, I think she might make it to the airport, but she won't be able to leave her guilt behind. Even if she didn't actually kill Theo, the fact that she wanted to is going to haunt her forever. She's not the good girl anymore. She's seen the darkness in herself, and that changes a person in ways you can't just fix. She might get away with it legally, but she'll never be truly free from the memory of that night. The funny thing about Coronation Street is that the truth always finds a way out eventually. It might take weeks, months, or even years, but the cobbles always tell their secrets. Whether it's a deleted video, a random selfie, or a hidden journal, the evidence is out there. We just have to wait for all the pieces to fall into place. I really want to know what you think about all this. Do you think Gary Windass is being set up by someone smarter than him, or is he finally paying for a lifetime of crimes? And what about Summer? Do you think she's actually capable of murder, or is she just a distraction to keep us guessing? The debate is really heating up, and I'd love to hear your theories. Who do you think really killed Theo Silverton? If you want to stay updated on all the latest Coronation Street spoilers and theories, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are following the story every step of the way, and you definitely won't want to miss what happens when the truth finally comes out. Give this video a like if you're as obsessed with this mystery as I am. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one to see if Gary manages to escape the law one more time. The thing about Gary is that he's always been his own worst enemy. You see it in the way he handles pressure. The latest news in the Theo case has him spinning out of control. Kit Green is breathing down his neck, and Gary is practically vibrating with anxiety. He tells Sarah he can't take much more of this. He says he's finished. But what does that even mean? Is he finished with the secrets, or is he finished with trying to be a good guy? The irony is just incredible. He's trying so hard to protect Sarah, but in doing so, he's destroying his own life with Maria. Maria isn't stupid. She sees them whispering. She sees them hugging. She thinks it's an affair. And honestly, can you blame her? From the outside, it looks exactly like two exes finding their way back to each other. But we know the truth is much darker. They aren't sharing a bed. They're sharing a secret that could put them both behind bars. Maria is absolutely devastated. She confides in Shona that things just haven't felt right for a long time. Then she gets the ultimate guilty husband move. Gary books a surprise holiday for the whole family. He thinks a bit of sun and sand will make her forget that he's been acting like a fugitive for weeks. But Maria sees right through it. She tells Izzy she thinks the holiday is just to appease his guilt over cheating. It's tragic, really. Gary is losing the woman he loves because he's trying to hide a crime she thinks is an affair. If he told her the truth, she'd probably leave him anyway because he's a murderer. He's trapped in a prison of his own making before he even steps foot in a courtroom. And then there's Kit Green. This guy is a piece of work. He's not just a cop, he's a man with a plan. He wants Sarah for himself. He's looking at engagement rings. Can you imagine? He's trying to put Gary in prison, so he can have a clear path to Sarah. It's so manipulative. He uses Harry, Sarah's son, to get closer to her. He makes himself the hero while painting Gary as the villain. And the scary thing is, he's right about Gary. Gary is shifty. Gary is lying. Kit isn't wrong. He's just doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. It's a battle of two very dangerous men, and Sarah is caught in the middle. She has no idea that the man she's dating is actively trying to destroy the man she's protecting. It's the kind of drama that makes your head spin. Meanwhile, Summer is in a hospital bed because she couldn't face the thought of going back to prison. She switched off her insulin pump. That is such a desperate, heartbreaking move. It shows just how much this case has broken her. Todd is horrified. He sees the girl he loves as a daughter literally trying to end it all because of a crime she says she didn't commit. And the crazy part? We now know she is innocent. Tyrone finally cracks. He tells Fizz everything. He saw Summer leave, but then he saw Theo alive in the window. That means Summer didn't do it. But why did Tyrone wait so long to speak up? Because he was protecting himself. He accidentally crushed Carl Webster on the same night. He's been sitting on evidence that could free Summer because he didn't want to go to jail for what happened to Carl. Talk about selfish. He's watching this young girl wither away in a prison cell just to save his own skin. Fizz is disgusted. She tells him he has to hand over the phone. He has the video of Carl tampering with the brakes. This is the smoking gun that changes everything. But here's the real kicker. If Summer is cleared, the police have to find a new prime suspect. And guess who is at the top of that list? Gary Windass. With Summer out of the way, all of Kit Green's focus goes back to the builder's yard. He's already found Todd's missing phone in a pawn shop, and a witness says it was found in a skip outside Gary's place. Gary claims he knows nothing about it, but Kit isn't buying it. He smells blood. He tells Lisa Swain that Gary definitely knows more than he's letting on. And he's right. Gary smashed the van. Gary deleted the CCTV. Even if he didn't kill Theo, he's done enough to look like he did. He's spiraling because he knows the walls are closing in. He's at speed dial, standing Maria up, while the police are circling. When he finally apologizes to her, Kit and Lisa interrupt. They want Maria to come back to the station. They want her to go over her statement again. This is Gary's worst nightmare.
He knows she lied for him.
He knows that if she cracks, he's done for. He's watching the woman he loves be interrogated by a man who wants to replace him. The tension is through the roof. Will Maria stick to her story, or will she finally tell the truth to get back at him for the affair she thinks he's having? It's such a mess. The funny thing is, while all this murder and mayhem is happening, life on the street just keeps moving. Daniel is dealing with social services because Bertie almost blew up the kitchen. David is trying to win Shona back with ultrasound photos after missing a hospital appointment. It's these little moments of normal life that make the dark stuff feel even darker. You have Sam seeing visions of a dark Roy, telling him to be violent. It's a heavy storyline about psychosis that shows just how much trauma is floating around Weatherfield right now. Everyone is struggling. Everyone has a secret. And then there's the news that Mikey North has signed a new deal to stay on the show for another year. This is huge for us fans. It means Gary isn't going anywhere yet. But it also means this spiral is just the beginning. The bosses say he has a massive year ahead. If he's not going to prison, how does he get out of this? Does he frame someone else? Does the real killer come forward? Or does he manage to manipulate the system one more time? We know he's a survivor. He survived the army, he survived Rick Nalon, he survived the factory roof collapse. But can he survive Kit Green? That's the real question. Kit is smart, he's motivated, and he has the law on his side. Gary is just a man with a trowel and a lot of bad memories. It feels like the end of an era for Gary Windass. Whether he ends up in a cell or just alone on the cobbles, things will never be the same for him. What do you think Gary's big year looks like? Do you think he'll finally have to face up to everything he's done since he first arrived on the street? I'd love to know if you think he can ever truly be redeemed. Or is he just a villain who's been lucky for far too long? The conversation is just getting started, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the chaos of Coronation Street, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. We've got so much more to talk about as this Theo mystery finally reaches its breaking point. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. You have to look at the way the writers are playing with us. They give us all these clues, like the selfie and the journal, but then they throw in a wild card like Tyrone's confession. It's like a giant puzzle where the pieces don't quite fit. Think about the psychology of Tyrone in all this. He's a good man, right? But he's been acting like a total coward. He's watched Summer suffer while he held the key to her freedom in his pocket. It just goes to show that even the nice guys on the street have a dark side when their own safety is at risk. And Fizz, imagine how she feels. She's married to a man who's been lying to her about a potential death and a literal murder case. Their marriage is supposed to be the solid one, but now it's built on a foundation of crushed cars and hidden videos. It's all falling apart. And then there's the Sam storyline. The way his fear of Will has turned into this mental health crisis is just devastating. Seeing Roy, one of the kindest people on the street, turned into a dark voice in a young boy's head is a brilliant bit of writing. It shows how fear can distort everything we know to be true. Sam isn't a violent person, but his brain is telling him that violence is the only way to be safe. It mirrors what Gary is going through, doesn't it? Gary thinks he has to be the bad guy to protect the people he loves. It's the same cycle of fear and control, so let's get back to the big one. Who killed Theo? If it's not Summer, and the evidence against Gary is all circumstantial, who is left? We have the hidden suspects, Danielle and Miles. They have the most to gain. Theo was a monster to them. If Miles killed his dad to protect his mom, that would be a classic soap twist. Or maybe it was someone else entirely. Someone we haven't even thought of yet. That's the beauty of a whodunit, isn't it? It keeps us guessing until the very last second. But for now, all eyes are on Gary. He's the one spiraling. He's the one deleting messages. He's the one losing his